Hey, yeah, hi. Uh, I, it's really good to see you again. I mean, it's good to finally meet you. I don't know. I just feel like I've never been good at this whole meeting new people thing. Don't get me wrong, meeting new people is great, and it's not like I don't know who you are. We talk all the time, and I feel like I know at least a bit of your lore. Uh, But despite that, this feels so new and strange, but in a good way. Like the feeling you get when you move into a new city and everything is unfamiliar, but you're still really excited to explore it all. I mean, it helps a lot when the city looks a lot better than it does in pictures. Truly, photography does not do some cities justice. Oh my goodness gracious. I've just been standing over your table like a big old oaf, rambling on and on like a madman. I bet people are staring, but I'm too nervous to look. Do you, do you mind if I sit? You're way too kind. I feel like I would have shooed myself away already, or pretended to get an important phone call, or insisted that all of a sudden I remembered that I had to use the bathroom. I know I talk a lot over text, but it's so much easier then. I get time to think over my words, and I can take a break if I'm feeling overwhelmed, but just like small talk and trying to determine whether people actually like me or are just being nice to save my feelings. Oh, it always makes me so anxious. If you're having second thoughts, don't feel bad. A lot of people do, and I kind of have trouble keeping people around. Apparently, most people don't appreciate it when you overshare about everything and would much prefer to say a bunch of useless small talk that doesn't really mean anything at all. I just don't get it. I want to know people for who they actually are, not who they pretend to be to make other people happy. Thank you, by the way. I didn't expect for you to remember that I like cream oat milk matcha lattes. I think I said it like once, so I'm really touched that you remembered. I know they're not the greatest for me, health and whatnot, but there is something about that mix of the matcha flavor and the way the cream coats the inside of my mouth that makes me feel really wonderful inside. Also, if you don't mind me asking, what did you order? The least I can do is remember what your favorite drink is for next time. Okay. Wow, you've got great taste. I believe I won't have much trouble remembering that one. Yeah, you're right. I do have to admit, I was pretty nervous about this whole affair. The skeletons of previous friendships feeding into my anxieties. But despite all that, you feel safe. And this feels right in a way I don't feel as though I can accurately describe with words. Kinda, think maybe how Mei and Satsuki must have felt when they were picked up by the cat bus after waiting in the rain. And to think, we're just meeting in a cafe and it already feels like this. I can't imagine what the future might bring. Also, I'm being so random right now, But that parrot reel that you sent me was great. It's not the type of thing I typically watch, but I thoroughly enjoyed it nonetheless. I feel like I've always had that silly, goofy energy inside of me, but always felt like I had to hide so that I wouldn't scare people away. Like, I can tell you about my silly dreams or talk like I'm straight out of the medieval times without having to worry about making you think I'm weird. Or maybe you already know that I'm weird and you're totally okay with that? I don't know. Either way, this is great. And I know we barely even really know each other, but it makes me feel really hopeful. Yeah, I said it. Hope. You make me feel hopeful. Sometimes when I'm feeling particularly cynical or depressed, I'll wonder what happened to that starry-eyed kid I used to be, with dreams bigger than his means and a heart full of all the naive motivation in the world. I miss him sometimes. How sure he was that he'd be able to figure it all out. How confident he was that if he dreamed big enough, that one day he'd get there, to become an astronaut and go to Mars and have his name etched into the annals of history forever and ever. And then I started to grow up and ran into obstacles that shook me down and taught me that life isn't so storybook and that I can get hurt and that people have selfish motives that seemingly nobody at all really cares about the dreams that I had held so tightly. So, slowly, I began to forget them. Or, to try and fit in. To try and mold my once unique self into a quote-unquote normal person that fit in and wasn't weird. And yet, here I am, sitting here with you, feeling just a little bit of that old self back in me. Maybe it's what romantic people say when they claim that their partner brings out the best in them. I don't really know. It's just like knowing you exist makes me want to push myself as hard as I can and to get to all the places I want to go. Just so that maybe, and I mean just maybe, I might have a chance to share them with someone as wonderful as yourself. I'm sorry if that was a lot. I'm pretty bad at regulating myself around people as nice as yourself. I get so caught up in the moment, I forget to consider if what I'm saying even makes sense, and much less how it will affect the person I'm speaking with. It's like I get blinded in the moment, too overwhelmed by my own thoughts and the beauty in your eyes to have much of a filter. And yet, I don't mean the words that I said any less. This, whatever it is now, whatever it is to come, I'm here for it. And just the same as you put up with my quirks, I'm more than happy to learn yours and learn how to appreciate them. Personally, I don't really believe there's such a thing as soulmates. I'm a bit too pragmatic for that. However, I do believe there is a very real possibility for two people to find each other and discover that for once in their lives, they can be accepted and comfortable in who they are, where the sentiment transcends a fleeting feeling and becomes something greater, almost like a duty over oneself, a selfless compassion fixated on the other person. I don't know if that's us, and I don't know if we're there, but I do know that I'd walk the lengths of the August Day dune fields of Mars just to bring you a rose if it would only bring a smile to your face. With everyone else I've been enraptured with, I'd always want to go fast and break things, chase passion, and yell it out to the world. But with you, it's different. I'm in no hurry, and I wouldn't want to tell a soul. It's as though whatever we have here is enough for me, and I don't have to seek out the affirmation of others when I've got you right here. For the first time in a long while, I'm happy. And I've got only you to thank. I'll be your friend forever or more if you'd want that, but either way, you're not gonna get rid of me so easy.